Osiris Gaming versus Happy Times. And just so you guys know, this is a best of 3 tonight.
And also, if you guys don't know, we do have Team Osiris Gaming, US-based team. We've met these guys in matchmaking quite a few times. Pretty competitive, I should say. Well, Happy Times from Denmark. I'm gonna assume this is, a US East server, so that's where we will be playing on. Happy Times on the Dire and Team Osiris on the Radiant side. What do you think about this first pick, or first ban, Naga Siren?
Well, I mean, you've been seeing Naga Siren a lot more in competitive play. A lot of really prominent professional players have been kind of showing what that hero can do, and I think it's a really good first ban, though. Timbersaw, obviously, really good counter to any melee carries in lane. So also a really good one to ban out if you're not going to pick him up.
With these early picks, or early bans, sorry, I feel like it opens up so much play. Like, we still have Bristleback on the board, and he's been seen quite a lot in competitive play as well. We've also got the traditional Dragonite, Crystal Maiden, Vistage lineup, if one of these teams choose to do that, as well as the popularized strong push lineups.
So banning the Slark, they're going to pick up Clockwork for their off lane for Team Happy Times.
We're going to probably see a huge teamwork-based lineup coming out from Team Happy Times, I'd say. Clockwork is able to get solo kills on his own, depending on who he faces, but with that early level 6, it's going to be quite devastating for Team Osiris if they aren't able to shut him down. He is quite mobile with that hook shot once he has that up.
Definitely. And we're going to see a Doom pickup by Osiris Gaming. Doom is one of those heroes too that's really flexible. You can see him mid sometimes, he can safe lane, he can jungle, so he's really flexible, not really giving out too much about their strategy yet at this point.
And he does counter a lot of the snowbally heroes like Storm Spirit if Happy Times decided to go for that mid, which won't be quite an option anymore. Happy Times might have to consider balancing out their heroes just so Doom needs to think about which hero to target rather than, having an easy, oh, well, if I could just, get rid of this hero, it'll make things easier. So we'll see how many cores Happy Times decides to pick up.
Oh, and they pick up the Ancient Apparition, which is pretty interesting. I mean, his Chilling Touch does a lot of damage early game. Scales pretty well, so it should be interesting to see.
And I definitely say with the 6, it's a nice initiation. Doom picking up that Shadow Blade, if he does spot somebody out, Ancient Apparition just throwing out his ulti, coming in with like a Doom from the Doom, and, some nuke damage, then, I don't know, I feel like that's some early kills there too. We'll see what they're going to decide to pair that up with.
Definitely. And the Nyx Assassin. So, usually we've been seeing like Nyx Assassin lately in aggressive tri-lanes. He's also a pretty good offlaner, and once again, a really flexible hero that can also be seen mid, so kind of keeping their options open.
Yeah, definitely. So, Osiris Gaming, knowing, it's been popular that the Nyx gets paired up with either the CM or the Visage, plus a core. They decided to ban both of those support heroes out, whereas Happy Times banning out the Invoker. I want to say, that Invoker with, his global spells, especially the Sunstrike, that pairs up pretty nicely with the Demon A, but being banned out, that's going to be fine. Osiris Gaming does pick up the Shadow Fiend, so being pretty squishy early on, a huge glass cannon, they're going to have to, I'd say Osiris Gaming's going to have to worry about those early ganks.
Definitely, and there we see the Storm Spirit pickup, so he's going to have a little bit of trouble with the Doom, but still a very mobile hero. Should be good for, dodging a lot of ultimates.
Yeah, and I thought they were actually going to, phase out the Storm Spirit because of the Doom, but I think this should be fine. They also, Team Osiris does still have the Clockwork in the Nyx to worry about.
Earthshaker and Lifestealer right away. So Storm Spirit and Lifestealer actually have really good synergy, especially late game. I mean, once you're in like a zippy vehicle like Storm Spirit, Lifestealer just has to infest, and then he's got almost like a free Blink Dagger. It's pretty much
Yeah.
the best kind of initiate he can get with the Storm Spirit, infest bomb, and you can deal probably close to like 1500 damage just on your initiate.
I honestly want to say with that lineup, they might possibly consider Nature's Prophet. That would be cause for good ganks within Fest as well. But Happy Times might go safe with an early with the support to pair up with the Nyx.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's what Osiris did contemplate since they did ban another support hero, the Rubik. So lots of supports being banned out for
Yeah,
Happy Times.
definitely.
I do say for both of these teams, they do have their initiation heroes. We have Earthshaker with a really long Fisher that can set up nicely for their team. But also for Happy Times, they have the Clockwork and the Nyx Assassin. If there is a Sentry or Detection Intel for Osiris, then that Clockwork does work really nice to set things up once team fights start happening.
Exactly. And I mean, the supports on Osiris also have very good synergy too. We have an Earthshaker and a Ancient Apparition, and the Fisher with Cold Feet does a lot of damage early on. You just have a stun that perfectly stacks. It's very good for setting up First Bloods. And not only that, but they would probably be a very good roaming duel together as well. And with Doom in the jungle, they should be able to counter any kind of early aggression on the Shadow Fiend by easily being able to rotate middle.
Yeah, and I definitely agree that AA and the Earthshaker pairing up quite nicely. That's good lockdown, especially for that Storm Spirit. And before you hit 6, if they are able to create lots of early movement early on, that Storm Spirit 6 is going to get so delayed. And it's just all the more better for Shadow Fiend, who does have some trouble at earlier levels to gain that farm and the levels that he needs to dish out a lot of damage against both the Storm Spirit and the Life Stealer.
Exactly. And Storm Spirit will probably have a bit of an advantage in the earlier laning phase, but if his supports are able to rotate successfully, hopefully be able to keep that advantage, because obviously really hard to win your lane in last hits once Shadow Fiend is stacking up his souls from Necromancy.
And I want to say, at this moment, Osiris Gaming taking in a lot of time to think about their composition, but they do pick up the Razor. So this is going to be looks like a tri lane for Osiris.
Yep.
Most likely an offensive. I mean, we do have a Doom, so I wonder
Interesting. Are we going to see an offlane Doom, though? That's the question.
yeah, and with that Shadow Demon last pick for Happy Times, we'll see if he'll be able to stay in the lane. Shadow Demon and Nyx would be able to phase him out easily, I would say.
Yeah, Shadow Demon's a really good setup, though, for the kind of ganks that they're going to want to throw. I mean, the Nyx Assassin, that's a guaranteed stun. Same with the Clockwork ultimate as well. Oh my god, hamster.
Yeah, I hear him.
Yeah, you can hear
He's
him.
excited the match is about to
I know.
start.
He's like, oh man, I want to see who wins. Please. Please.
The game is paused. You want to go ahead and introduce the Radiant team?
Yeah, absolutely. So, looks like we have over here, we have the team captain, Pat Soul, who's going to be on the Doom. Ganymede is going to be playing the Razor. We have an Earthshaker, who is Pandak, who is a stand-in for their team. And C7 will be mid on the Shadow Fiend. Looks like we
And
have
I
a
do believe they are missing their one Ancient Apparition. God, who's on that one though?
Okay, I'll be back really quickly. I'm just gonna move his whole cage outside.
Alright.
Please, don't.
So while Sam works out some technical difficulties, tending to her hamster right now, can't exactly move the camera, so I'll go ahead and introduce the Dire once she settles in. And we do have the reconnect coming in, so this game will be on its way pretty soon. Oh yeah. Yeah, it should be so. I don't think it's the sound cutting out. It's Sam's hamster. I think it might be playing with the audio levels for Sam's mic with that noise constantly popping in.
Ah, beautiful silence.
Amazing. Game is still paused, you guys, so.
Alright. I just moved the whole cage into my dad's workout room. He can deal with that.
Alright, game is now on pause. Let's see. On the side of the Dire, we have in the top lane, it is going to be the solo Clockwork, and Kefka will be on that one. The offensive tri-lane coming out with Ape Mother on the Lifestealer, grabbing that farm, Bubbles on the Nyx, and Solid on the Shadow Demon. And at middle, we have the Storm Spirit, but he's actually roaming in the bottom lane right now. Maybe they might go ahead and find a stray or two.
Yeah, they're definitely looking to set something up right here. And I mean, with the Shadow Demon, they definitely could possibly get a first blood here. They're all waiting to skill.
And I almost like these lane setups, actually. I think it favors Happy Times a little bit more. That solo Clockwork, I don't exactly know how he's going to grab farm for himself against that pretty dangerous tri-lane, I should say.
Exactly. But I mean, Clockwork is a really good hero for surviving in the offlane. He's one of the classic offlane heroes. I mean, he has his Rocket Flare to kind of stand back and farm from afar. He also has his cogs that he can harass with to try and get rid of some of the mana in the lane. But I mean, as far as offlanes go, you're winning your offlane as long as you're not dying. And it's creating more space on the map for the rest of your team, less aggression, allowing your carries to farm. So as long as he can kind of just stay alive in his lane, he'll be doing his team a good service.
Yeah. And knowing that if he does step back, we do have the Earthshaker and the AA both holding a smoke for themselves. So if this Clockwork plays it safe, his enemies might just have to try and go for rotations. And like we talked about against that Storm mid early, it's going to be really potent. So we'll see what they decide to do.
Looks like the Nyx is kind of scouting it out. Sort of want to see if he can do some early aggression. Probably not going to happen.
Yeah, he's just waiting for now.
That camp.
And yeah, Team Osiris was able to spot them out with that ward blocking the small pull camp. So this does look like a 2-1-2 on Team Happy Times with the Nyx in tow to babysit the Clockwork. Whereas,
exactly.
Yeah.
So it looks like Clockwork's going to be mostly kind of standing in lane, trying to get EXP, while Nyx is going to try and leech as much EXP and gold as he can from the jungle.
And this is good. I mean, they'll both be able to hit their level 6 a lot earlier than before. We do have that Fisher coming up mid on the Storm Spirit, but AA not quite able to follow through. It's just going to do a little bit of damage.
They do have a pretty aggressive ward up here, so I definitely think we're going to see a lot of attempts at aggression middle, which is a smart idea, especially before Storm gets level 6, because obviously much easier to gank him before he gets his ball lightning.
Oh, that's right. I don't think Dota TV can hear us.
Oh, right. We have to use our in-game speak, right?
Yeah, sorry about that, you guys.
Yeah, sorry about that. Dota TV, we are here. So yeah, a lot of rotations now. Looks like top is going to be going on the AA. Possibly diving this tower, trying to go for a first blood. But Doom's here to say, I don't think so, back off.
Oh, one more right click and he was able to bring the Shadow Demon down.
It's a really good lead for Doom. Good start.
I think your mute co-caster button should be on. Sorry about that. I had it off and I was able to hear you in game.
I see.
And then we do have a kill. Oh. Clockwork got kind of caught out of position against that Earthshaker and Razor, and Earthshaker was able to get that kill. Meanwhile, it does look like Lifestealer did rotate to the top lane. So did the Doom. So right now it's the Doom and the AA versus the Lifestealer, Nyx, and Shadow Demon in tow. I think they're just going to wait for one of these heroes to get caught out of position.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of just waiting so they can pick off this Doom. He's going to try and pull, though, to kind of counter their pull. Get a little bit of that lost EXP back.
Yeah, it's working so far. It's just really strange to see a complete 180 rotation from the top to bottom for both teams.
And Storm leading with last hits right now. He's got a pretty good lead on him, too. He's got 21 last hits to Shadow Fiend 16. He's already has his bottle, his Null Talisman, and his boots. So definitely going to give him a bit of an advantage than the no boots Shadow Fiend getting all the runes.
Yeah, he is getting, well, he just got his bottle and boots right now, and they are really even in terms of XP. Storm Spirit with maybe just 100 more, both levels 5 still. He is going to grab that haste rune for himself. Let's see if he can actually make a play with this. Once he hits that early 6, he might grab a solo kill on that Shadow Fiend. I do feel like there is less action going on, especially with these safe rotations coming in. The Doom being babysat by the AA. The AA still has a smoke on him, and he has yet to make some sort of action happen with that Earthshaker. But in the bottom lane, we've got that Fisher coming in, does block the Clockwork with the static link. Let's see if a couple more right clicks will be able to bring him down. But one more?
Not so much. Even with that static link, 84 stolen damage. Such a strong spell early game. And really good to counter melee heroes in lane as well and kind of just completely zone them out.
Yeah, Kefka got really lucky there. I think it was just one more right click and he would have been done, but good of him to back off fairly easily. So 5 minutes, 20 seconds into the game, we have 2 kills up on the board for Team Osiris. Team Happy Times, still nil. And Lifestealer does pick up boots for himself, so I don't exactly think he is going to go the Midas route. We'll see. And
Storm Spirit picking up a kill mid. He's got his haste rune, and this guy knows how to use it. Gonna punish the Shadow Fiend, dive his tower a little bit.
Yeah, the power of level 6, man.
Shadow Fiend is, however, beating him in last hits at this point, but not EXP.
Oh yeah, definitely not. Storm Spirit's still in the lead as far as that goes.
And actually the Dire side doing a really good job with their supports, just camping the rune, ensuring that the Storm Spirit is getting complete rune control, which is really important for that hero to be able to stay in lane and keep constant pressure on the Shadow Fiend. Because he's not the kind of hero that you want to leave in lane to just sit there and farm.
Exactly.
Because that's obviously what he exactly wants to do.
And I'm actually surprised about this Clockwork. He has the same levels as the 2 supports on Team Osiris. Considering he had a solo lane for himself, I mean, he should have higher levels in order for his true potential to come out, but it's being severely delayed, and I don't know if it's because of these rotations, but we do see a smoke coming in from the Nyx and the Shadow Demon. Let's see if they're going to be able to catch out the Storm Spirit, the Shadow Fiend.
Looks like he's out of position. There we go. That's definitely a kill.
Yeah, severely locked down. And Shadow Fiend, unfortunately, I mean, he's almost level 8, so close, but with that, it's seriously going to hamper his levels.
I think we're going to need to see more movement from the AA top. I mean, it's great babysitting the Doom, but their supports are just constantly moving.
Exactly.
They don't really have any defensive wards up here, like even like a lane ward to kind of help out the Doom, which probably would be nice for him, especially if the AA is going to start roaming around the map.
Yeah, and considering that Doom almost hit 6, that AA did back off. So Doom just finally hit level 6, but with that AA still level 4, I mean, we still have yet to see, like some ganks coming in.
Yeah, exactly. But A is one of those heroes too. Like his ult is great because it has such a big global presence. So it'll be definitely nice to see him get a little bit more EXP and start throwing those ults out there, being able to push lanes and even help with ganks when Dire is diving their towers.
So 8 minutes into the game, still not quite a bit of action here. I think Happy Times might be looking for that clockwork to hit 6. He's almost halfway there from level 5. That Storm Spirit, he was able to grab some runes, but with that rune control coming in from the Shadow Fiend now,
Yeah,
he hasn't
Shadow
been too
Fiend
lucky.
getting his first rune of the game.
And it's a regeneration rune. I don't exactly know if the Storm Spirit would have been able to do anything about that, but
Probably good for him though, because he's able to also kind of fall back and farm the jungle as well. So a few quick shadow raises is definitely going to help him out a lot with last hits.
exactly, and he is actually really even with the Storm Spirit, gaining a couple with the jungle creeps right there.
And looks like they want to put some aggression on top. They're kind of just waiting in the wings, waiting for that Doom to get out of position.
Yeah, and they're actually diving. We've got
And
2
there's
TP supports coming in.
Looks like
Earthshaker
they're going to
out
go
with
for a
the
counter
Fishing.
gank, but not able to break the range here. He did Doom the Lifestealer, however, not really going to do considerable damage to him at this point. Don't really have any lockdown in place for him to kind of keep the Lifestealer.
Yeah, at most with that, he only lost like half of his HP, and he's gonna be able to get this back with that infest, and that's exactly what he does. He infests that creep. He's back to full HP.
We do, however, see 4 from the Radiant moving top now, so looks like they're going to want to push at this point. They did use Chilling Touch, however, I don't believe that deals any extra damage to towers, only to units.
Yeah, I can't confirm that. But they are going to put pressure on this top tower, and we do see no contest coming in from the Dire team. They're actually just going to go ahead and try to trade the middle tower for their top.
Yeah, exactly. And the Shadow Fiend in a really dangerous spot right now, especially with a full mana pooled Storm. An easy initiate for him and the clock.
Oh, that
came in with the mech. Wow.
Clutch
That
mech coming in
Razor.
from the Razor. Yeah, able to keep the Shadow Fiend
And
alive.
he's going to TP out. Is he going to get it? Wow.
Oh, clockwork.
That was clutch.
Barely
Well
making
done.
it out alive. He was so caught out of position too
Yeah.
on his own.
He's kind of just hanging out in the trees like, oh no, this is bad. This is really bad. Looks like the Radiant's going to try and push mid now, though.
Yeah, they definitely can. We've got the hook shot on cooldown for 35 seconds, but does look like Team Osiris is going to back off. Maybe go ahead and defend the bottom tower. It is fairly low, 287 HP.
I think Lifestealer can tell he's not in a really good position. TP's top to try and get some more farm. Does, however, have his phase boots up and an Orb of Venom. Doesn't look like he's going to be going the Midas build this game. Looks like he's going to go right into some drums. Should be good for an early aggression, considering there's been so much push and there's been so much rotations. Probably a good call on his part.
Yeah, definitely. And I do believe that they still need some sort of lockdown for Team Osiris. We've got Razor fairly quick once he gets his levels going. That Doom as well. So he might be looking to invest in either a Basher and possibly the Desolator. But what a clutch mech from that Razor.
Oh yeah, that was a beauty. TP's in right in time.
So we've got Team Osiris kind of at a standstill. We've got Earthshaker going top, possibly to gain some levels. He is still level 5 right now, 12 minutes into the game. Same as the Ancient Apparition. Quite close to 6, but he's going to have to be careful trying to gain some experience here in the middle against Storm Spirit. That Storm Spirit can easily solo him, but he's got this Shadow Fiend in lane to help him out.
Definitely, and probably a really good thing at this point to be kind of securing their Shadow Fiend's farm. I mean, he had a little bit of trouble early game with the 3-man ganks, but he is able to just kind of fall back to the jungle. And it definitely is really helpful, them having their mech up at this point. Especially for all the 4-man, 5-man team fights that we've seen so far this game.
Yeah,
Definitely
and
makes a huge difference.
knowing that mech is up, they're gonna go ahead and try to take this mid tower. But we see the Nyx just vendetted, so I think he was hoping for Team Osiris to stay by the tower, but they actually sort of backed off. Still 4 mid though.
AA is carrying sentries. He's gonna place one middle.
And he does have a 6, so...
Exactly, they're kind of just waiting for that next gank. There's the mech popped, and they're gonna just try and take mid tower with brute force.
Oh, in the meantime, Clockwork taking an easy tower bottom by himself while that standstill was happening middle.
That's split pushing Clockwork.
Didn't even have to think about it. We do see an Impale coming up on Pat Soul. He does have his Doom up, but not any heroes quite in range for it to be effective.
And I mean, Doom is a great ability to have against the Storm Spirit, considering they don't have that much lockdown as far as it goes. So being able to Doom him, stopping him from zipping away should help out a lot.
Yeah, we've got the Ball Lightning coming in, knowing that
picked off.
Yeah, Team Osiris was TPing out. He was able to grab that Ancient Apparition. That caught him off guard. That was a nice play by Storm Spirit.
Definitely, that offensive ward really let them kind of get in there and judge the numbers really quickly. Oh, Rosie, they're coming for you again.
Yeah. Sad boys, more like bad boys. So we do see the Vendetta coming in from the Nyx. He's going to go ahead and pop it onto the Razor with that Infest. That was just overkill, but Razor will go down bottom. It's 4 heroes of Team Happy Times.
And I mean, that's what we're going to see. It's such a powerful ganking lineup that the Dire has at this point, with the Clock Initiate, with the Storm Spirit Initiate and Nyx inside of him. Also the Invisible Nyx, and then also the Global Ulti from AA. I mean, it's a very mobile gank that they're carrying around, and they can kind of just throw out every minute or so around the map, which will definitely gain them a huge advantage.
Yeah, they seem more like heavily gank based, but as far as team fights go, I feel like Osiris would come out on top. It's just they haven't been able to make anything happen. Their support heroes not able to synergize to set up for kills. But another smoke gank coming up. Shadow Demon and Clockwork. Let's see what they're trying to do here. Storm Spirit's also smoked up as well. They do catch the Razor off guard, sort of. He wasn't able to spot them out, but let's see if they're going to try to engage on this.
Kind of a risky spot, and they do have the ward up, so they can see the numbers mid. They can see at least 4, and obviously not exactly the kind of engagement you want to take at this point. I think Storm Spirit's really looking to kind of find that pick off. He's looking for the straggler behind so that he can just kind of flank.
Yeah, and I definitely feel like if they had engaged there, that would have been poor on their decision, because that would, I don't know, it's just 2 of the heroes on Happy Times are kind of caught out of position. It was just unfavorable for them. But at this point, Team Osiris is going to go ahead and take this tier 1 tower middle. Not much contest coming in from Happy Times.
Lifestealer is pushing the bottom, however. He is able to pick up some farm as well.
I feel like this might just be their saving grace, the constant split pushing coming out from them.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, they have more split push ability, definitely, than the Radiant, especially considering that they have so many ganking heroes. It's very easy for one of them to stay behind, to TP, and pick off anyone on the Radiant who's trying to split push at any point.
Yeah, and honestly, I feel like Team Osiris needs to pop in some defensive wards. That Storm Spirit was able to take that Ancient Apparition out once he started stepping onto high ground right here, so kind of unfortunate. That's the second time he got picked off.
But they definitely got mid covered with sentry wards. They had 3 of them up just a second ago.
Another Ball Lightning coming in. He actually did finish his Orchid, so this is going to be amazing for team play. He did silence this Shadow Fiend, but wasn't able to quite get a follow through.
Well, exactly, and what you're going to see with any Storm Spirit Orchid is definitely he's just going to be looking for pickoffs all game. So Radiant has to be very careful in the way that they're positioning themselves and how they're traveling together, because it's very easy for a Storm Spirit with a full mana pool to pick off most heroes.
Yeah, and there was a nice gank attempt coming in from Team Osiris. They did use the AA's Frost Blast on the Lifestealer top with the Shadow Fiend and the Clockwork trying to come in, but that Lifestealer backed away. So that wasn't able to happen. Shadow Fiend now caught out of position. He is going to get purged into an open wounds. And with the...
Able to get away, though.
Yeah, what a delayed, what is it, disruption, but... What a bad manner disruption. Securing a nice kill for themselves on the Shadow Fiend. Looking at the gold graph, a little bit in favor of Team Osiris, but XP definitely in favor of Happy Times, and I do believe it's because they are farming a lot more, I should say.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Happy Times does have a kill advantage at this point, so they do have a ganking lineup. They do have more mobility to get around the map and kind of pick off heroes. So it's be interesting to see if they can just keep this EXP difference.
And Shadow Fiend does pick up his Black King bar right now. I didn't notice this, but Doom actually picked up the drum and the Vanguard, so I think he's actually just trying to go for a tanky build, being able to survive during those team fights. But isn't going to be able to put out that much damage with that specific build. It's interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And we are seeing pretty, I guess, early to mid-game builds on these heroes. I mean, the Razor with the mech pickup and the Doom again with the Vanguard. They definitely want to be doing some early to mid-game team fights.
And it looks like with that, the whole mid to late game timing, the Team Osiris is going to try to push this bottom lane, going to go for this tier 1 tower. Let's see if Team Happy Times decides to counter this time. It just seems like they have had all their towers just falling without them wanting to really do anything about it. And I want to say, as far as team compositions go, I feel like Team Osiris does have the more favorable team fight, but maybe that's actually why they might be avoiding them. Team Happy Times, I mean.
Well, I mean, at this point, it's hard to say who has the better team fight. I mean, both teams have really great AoE spells. They have the CC to kind of shut down the other team, but if we look at the builds, looks like I'd say maybe the Osiris has a little bit of an advantage as far as a team fight goes.
Yeah, I should say, yeah.
Whereas, yeah, the Happy Times probably has a bit more advantage as far as just having the mobility to gank around the map.
And that is actually proving quite nicely. Stormspirit trying to engage on the AA again, but he's going to be met up with the Earthshaker and the Razor. Drums does get popped, and they might look to counter the Stormspirit. He is out of mana. Nice defensive impale comes out from the Nyx, stunning all three of the heroes on Team Osiris.
They really want this Storm Spirit.
Yeah, and he might actually just get away. Oh, just
has enough mana.
Possibly could have died to a level death from the Doom, but...
Oh, and the Earthshaker goes down, unable to get his ult off, unfortunately.
Yeah, nice counter ganks coming in. Patsoul also dying to the hands of Lifestealer. That was a good turnaround. That Stormspirit being out of mana. Good bait. Looking at the items on the board here, we don't see any newer items, so might see the BKB being built onto the Razor next. He does have the Ogre and Club in tow, but I don't know, maybe he might go for an SNY.
Yeah, it is very possible. SNY is a really good item on Razor, especially when he's able to get the full duration of his static link off. I mean, you're just stealing massive amounts of damage, and he is kind of a direct counter to Lifestealer, because he's able to just take that damage away and just turn it right back on him.
Oh, that is very true. Yes, I
So
think
yeah, definitely having that increase in attack speed is going to give him a bit of advantage on shutting down the lifestealer.
and I don't know if it's just ability draft for me lately, but it just seems that everybody's starting to build SNY, so I don't exactly know if there's
Yeah,
a
it's
buff
starting to
to
come
it.
back because I think there was a buff. I know for a while, like there was a lot of controversy around that item, and a lot of people thought it was trash. But I don't know. What are your guys' opinions on the Saint and Yasha in chat?
Have you guys been building the new SNY meta? I don't know, it's just weird. I've literally seen it so many times in ability draft, it's insane.
Yeah. Oh, looks like he has 400 MS delay for some reason. Not good.
Must mean you forgot to turn your stream off.
No more stream sniping.
So we do have two smokes, one on each team. We've got one on the Ancient Apparition, one on the Nyx. Possibly gonna go. I don't know. It just seems like this is the stage of the game where um, the heroes have the levels they need in order to, go around the map with the mobility that they have in tow and try to, get the ones farming or get the ones not exactly roaming around with their team. We haven't quite seen five mans coming out from Team Happy Times, but
True.
Team Osiris has been roaming along, like around a lot together.
And it does look like they possibly are wanting to kind of just lock down their jungle right now. We see the sentry wards up to kind of scout for the Nyx, looking for any pickoffs. Possibly make some room for the Doom or the Razor to kind of just farm the jungle and get a little bit more farm. Shadow Fiend as well.
Yeah, and I can see why because even though Shadow Fiend is leading the board as far as last hits goes with 140, the rest of his team still need quite a bit in order to top the charts.
Definitely. And we can just see Nyx kind of lurking here. He's just waiting, and it looks like he's going to just keep doing that. Just waiting to get the pick off bottom, create a little bit of space for the rest of his team to farm. And kind of keep an eye on those carries.
Exactly. In Shadow Demon, with that Force Staff being built, this is going to be. We have one Force Staff already on Team Happy Times on the Clockwork, but
I feel like we've been seeing just so much more of that, like the Force Staffs, even after like MLG and a lot of the games that we saw, where it's just like entire teams having Force Staffs and just keeping their carries alive under any circumstances with like multiple Force Staffs. It's a really fun item. Actually, debatably, it's probably my favorite item in the game.
Same. And it's definitely more interesting than the Necronomicon trend that's been going around for a couple months till of late. So.
Such bore. Much originality.
So Nyx did pick up the haste. It's about to run out soon, but he doesn't have mana. He's just going to go ahead and regenerate at the fountain. But let's see if we're going to see some aggression coming here from Team Osiris. They did pop the smoke. It is a 5-man smoke.
says die. Oh, never mind. That was the Clockwork. I thought that was an AA ulti for a second. I'm like, oh, he's going to punish that single creep.
Yeah. And unfortunately for Team Osiris, that Nyx Assassin did actually just back up in order to get some more mana from the fountain. So let's see if they're actually going to be able to run into any of the heroes from Team Happy Times.
So they are going to try and go for a Roche right now.
Oh, exactly.
But we do have Clockwork constantly scouting. Yeah, I think they knew at that point that Roche was definitely a possibility, and that's why Clockwork was consistently sending his rockets bottom, not only pushing the lane, but also scouting the territory over Roche. So they were able to spot that really quick. Despite the smoke that they used, it was a pretty obvious attempt, I guess.
Yeah, and both teams did decide to back off. We did see the Lifestealer infested into the Clockwork, so they could have tried for counter engagement, but I do believe that the Storm Spirit and the Nyx were kind of caught out of position, so the follow-through wasn't quite there, but Nyx Assassin and Storm Spirit both smoked up now. They're going to go ahead and try to find a pick-off for themselves, but considering they did see that Roche attempt, I want to say that they should see this bottom aggression coming in. We see this tower. Glyph does get popped by Team Happy Times.
Should be interesting too, considering that the Razor's built a Sage at this point, if he's going to go for a Sage and Yasha, or if he's going to try and go into a Halberd.
I do believe like the only right-click damage coming out from Team Happy Times is the Lifestealer. Not much from anyone else. It's more magical damage. So
yeah, exactly.
Want to see SNY. We do see a Ball Lightning coming in on the Doom. He does get stunned up. He is able to live. Yeah, that's actually very interesting.
Doom up.
We do see the 5-man TP support coming in from Team Osiris. So Nyx Assassin does
Space is created for Lifestealer to kind of push on mid, but looks like there's some pings on the Dire side around the Roche pit. Looks like they might want to kind of mobilize and try and get that down.
Yeah, even with that Nyx down, I feel like Team Happy Times can still take this Roshan fairly quickly. But
yeah, definitely. I mean, they do have a lot of wards up though on the Radiant side right now, and they didn't even really attempt to counter ward yet. So it would be very risky for them to try and just sneak a Roche at this point.
Oh god, all of the sentries localized in like one spot.
Yeah, and we can see with the AA ults, both teams are using their global abilities, trying to just scout out. Neither of them really committing to go for a Roshan, kind of just waiting for the other team, kind of catch them out of position.
I mean, they fairly could do so. Everyone has their ulti spells up, except for the Ancient Apparition, but this will be up within the next 10 seconds. It's just, I feel like Happy Times with their lineup, they have so much potential to, I don't know, gain so many kills, but Osiris sticking pretty closely together. It's been really hard for Team Happy Times to make use of their mobility in order to find those pickoffs.
Exactly. And how do you feel about the late game? I mean, the teams are pretty balanced as far as it goes. It should be interesting to see though, because it's kind of debatable which team has the better late game. I mean, getting a BKB up on the Dire team is going to negate a lot of the damage that the Osiris Radiant is putting out. But I mean, same can be said for the Radiant as well.
This Doom always getting caught out. That was the second attempt for Team Happy Times to try and pick him off, and they were able to successfully do so, even under the safety of his own tower. And his teammates TPing in a little bit too late. At that point, free kill, they can just, go ahead and back off.
So it looks like the Razor is going to be going for a Sage and Yasha. So yeah, he's going to be trying to just be one of those right clickers along with the Shadow Fiend and just get that right click damage in there.
Yeah, he's going to be super fast. Paired up with that drum from the Doom. Oh man.
And phase boots, yeah.
Yeah, he's at 441 MS already with the phase boots. So far, Gold's still in the lead of Osiris, not by much, about 1k, and Experience still steeping closer in advantage to Happy Times, nearing 7.5k now.
Yeah, so they're kind of increasing in their XP lead, which, like I said before, I mean, is kind of to be expected considering how much gank potential they have.
Yeah, indeed, and they do have a bit of more kills on the board, even with one tower still left to go. That top tower pretty low though. They might actually go ahead and take this for free.
Definitely, and the Radiant is kind of just sitting around to farm at this point. I don't know if that's their best tactic necessarily, considering the kind of mid-game builds that they did get up on Doom and the Earthshaker.
Oh, some miscommunication coming in from the Shadow Demon. Does disrupt the Shadow Fiend, so nice hook shot onto the Storm Spirit, that Clockwork.
Oh, denied.
That was an amazing deny. That Clockwork hooked onto Storm Spirit in order to grab that. That was pretty sick. the Shadow Fiend. Gonna go ahead and try to hunt the Shadow Demon down, but Shadow Demon
Oh,
is
wrong
actually
way.
pretty
Shadow
good.
Team's juking.
Oh,
Oh, that Shadow Race. Not today, says Shadow Demon, and Nyx is just following this AA around.
oh
Squishiest
man.
hero on the Radiant team. That's the pickoff that he wants.
Yeah, he used that mana burn, but he was able to just kill him with that Vendetta and the Impale, just those two. That was pretty.
Yeah. And looks like the AC is now up on the Lifestealer, so that's going to help them a lot in team fights right now. He is going to, however, start on Roshan. There is a ward up on the Radiant side that scouted him out, so we're going to see probably some movement pretty soon to try and counter that.
And you're pretty correct. They're actually going to head that way. The AA ulti does come in to scout it out as well. He does see the Shadow Demon and the Nyx in tow. The smoke does get popped for Team Osiris, so we'll see if they want to go ahead and do something to try and, get the Roshan attempt easier
Yeah.
for themselves.
And it definitely looks like they want to be team fighting at this point. The Dire is a little more split up because they are looking for those constant pickoffs. Would be interesting to see actually if they could use the AA to bait. I mean, considering he's the only one not smoked right now, drop a Sentry Ward and just kind of stick that juicy AA out there on a string. See if that Nyx comes over.
And I do feel like this is the point of the game where he can safely bait. We have the Earthshaker now with a blink pickup. So instead of the Storm Spirit, just, ball lightning in to kill him. We see the nice
and there's the
headshot coming
initiate.
in from Clockwork. But yeah, Clockwork with that Force Staff, being able to get out of that cold feet, that's going to be his saving grace. Here in the bottom lane, we see Doom does get the Doom off on Lifestealer with a static link on him as well. Razor picking up 215 damage, but
Just so fast though. Plus he's got the extra armor now.
yeah, he's definitely not going to chase. They don't have sight. The Dire team doesn't have sight at all near the Roche pit, so I don't think they anticipated how many heroes there could be. In the top lane, we've got Shadow Fiend. He did pop his BKB, but yeah, both teams just rubber banding here and there, not really being able to secure any kills for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And all of our early game aggression that we're seeing is really dropping off. It looks like the teams kind of are just falling back, looking for counter initiates at this point, trying to catch somebody out of position, not really committing to any team fights.
And we do see another infest coming in on the Nyx. There isn't any detection on Team Osiris except for one sentry on the Ancient Apparition. So let's see if the Nyx assassin can actually turn things around with this gank coming in.
And Doom does pick up his BKB now. So he's pretty tanky at this point. I mean, definitely going to be able to survive these team fights and definitely get his Doom off, which is key to their team fight for sure. Definitely for shutting down either the Lifestealer or the Storm Spirit in team fights.
And if he survives those team fights, I mean, his level death is spammable. Every 8 seconds, I mean, that's going to be a lot of damage.
Especially and the Earthshaker with his Blink Dagger as well. So their team fight is looking a lot stronger right now. Especially with that Blink Dagger initiate. I mean, the Earthshaker ult is going to deal some mega damage. And looks like they're going to be going for Roche now.
Yeah, and I do believe Team Osiris is aware of this.
Yeah, let's see if they're going to try to make something happen. Scouted out by the AA ult. Shadow Demon just kind of camping on the cliff. Scouting, waiting for danger.
Nyx looking to go for a setup. Powercogs comes in on the Razor, but not really going to do anything. The Aegis is actually going to go to Storm Spirit.
And a very clutch TP out. Good positioning.
So, that was almost for free.
Yeah, pretty much. The Radiant just wasn't able to mobilize fast enough and kind of counter that Roche. So the Dire team definitely using the space to their advantage. They're able to get in and out of there really quick, pick up the Aegis, have a little bit more potential now in their team fight, especially with that Aegis and the Storm Spirit being able to put out so much aggression.
And I do believe it's good that the Storm Spirit did pick up the Aegis and not the Life Stealer, because I feel like Storm Spirit is their biggest initiator right now, and if he does get caught out, that is that second life right there. If something bad happens, I mean, he can just pop his Aegis and it'll be all fine.
Definitely, and I think we're going to be seeing more of the Storm Spirit split pushing, like the four in the Dire team fighting with the Storm Spirit, kind of waiting for any stragglers to pick off. I mean, that's what his build is really good for, and he will look like he's kind of going off by himself because he's so easy as far as being able to survive, being able to kind of be in more dangerous spots because of his ultimate. And he does have a TP up, so he is able to kind of TP in and join any team fight at any point.
Yeah, exactly.
Life
Because, I mean,
Stealer.
what can Team Osiris really do about the Storm? They have a Doom, but they don't really have anyone to set it up for him, like, you know, the Nyx or the Life Stealer infesting into him.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. They pretty much. Well, it looks like. Yeah, they're gonna bail out of the jungle. They realize it's not
mhm.
really a good idea. All five kind of just camping around here at this point. And I think they're aware of that. They know that the Nyx is going to be looking for their carries farming in the jungle and trying to pick them off. That's why they have the sentry wards up. So kind of just staying as a cohesive unit now.
And this is where the tables have both turned as far as golden XP goes. Happy Times now kind of in the lead, and I do believe it's this constant five-man rotations from Team Osiris that's kind of hindering them at this point. They're not able to secure farm for themselves, just mainly for the Shadow Fiend. But I mean, Team Happy Times, they pretty much have the entire map, and with that Ag Scepter pickup from the Clockwork, that's something dangerous that Team Osiris is also going to have to think about in the next team
Exactly.
fight.
And that map control is just giving them a huge EXP lead at this point. They have over a 10k lead in EXP. And I mean, as far as this game goes, especially with a ganking lineup, we have a relatively low kill death count. It's actually kind of surprising.
5 to 10 at 36 minutes into the game. This has been
Yeah.
such a safe game, but we might see some aggression coming out from Team Happy Times. We did see the gem pick up on the Shadow Demon and the blink from Nyx, so they're going to go ahead and try to deward the map and try to secure even more farm for themselves to possibly be able to push all the lanes. I
Yeah,
mean, we do see
exactly.
that bottom tower, it's really low. That might be their next stop.
And I think they know as far as like the right click damage goes, the Shadow Fiend and the Razor, they want to cut them off of farm at this point and kind of just starve them out. That's why they're trying to secure slowly, methodically the entire map and kind of just starve the other team.
Yeah, and although there hasn't been action, I mean, it's been safe. We see a ball lightning coming in on the Shadow Fiend. He was actually spotted out by the Nyx, but the Nyx just playing it very carefully. That Storm was able to just come in with some, yeah, that infest from the Lifestealer. That was a lot of nuke damage. Kind of caught me by surprise. Shadow Fiend
Yeah,
had no time to
definitely.
react. So with that, at this point, I can see why they're five-manning, but it's hurting them at the same time as well. This is going to be a free top tower for Team Happy Times. That Aegis, I still believe that there's 2 minutes left on it. So I feel like they're both going to be able to get both of these towers.
Yeah.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
I mean, Shadow Fiend is down at the moment, and doesn't look like Team Osiris is really wanting to take team fights. I mean, they'll take the defensive team fight top, possibly defending their tower. They know two are bottom. They have numbers in their favor, and looks like the Doom is kind of just waiting for that initiate. I wonder as far as Doom's build goes, if it would have been effective on him to pick up maybe like a Blink Dagger or something to kind of close the gap. Considering they have so much mobility on the Dire team and they do have the Force Staffs, it is hard for him to get that initiate off.
I honestly feel like what's lacking on Team Osiris is some lockdown. Like, they don't exactly have an Orchid. They do have some, like, two BKBs, but that's really defensive. They don't
Yeah,
exactly have
exactly.
anything other than the Fisher and the Cold Feet and the Doom.
Exactly. I mean, the Fisher is the only hard stun. The Cold Feet is variable. So it really is just completely up to the Earthshaker to kind of get that hard lockdown and try and take out the carries as fast as possible.
Yeah, and what's even worse for them is Team Happy Times, they do have, their own set of Force Staffs as well, so it's going to be really hard. They're going to have to coordinate really well if they want to go ahead and, I don't know, put the team fights in their favor. It hasn't been looking good so far. And this Nyx, still doing his job, scouting out mid, won't be able to do much. I mean, the Shadow Fiend's gonna actually...
and we can see the Dire is just putting constant pressure on all lanes. They're really cutting the Radiance team off of any potential space to kind of farm.
And we can see where that early gem pickup came into favor, because looking at the XP graph now, Happy Times is in the lead at 14k.
Yeah, so quite a lead at this point. And I mean, having that positioning on the map, having that lockdown is gonna do that eventually. I mean, we haven't really seen... to see...
Yeah, I was gonna say we might see a major team fight going on here. They were picking that Earthshaker who's gonna come in with that Blink Fisher, but Storm and Lifestealer is playing it safe once again.
Nyx is scouting out the Razor, so he does know he's here. It would be interesting to see if they're looking to initiate, though, on the uphill. They do not have vision, however, of the rest of the team, but I'm sure they could assume that they're close by, considering their playstyle for the last, 25 minutes.
Yeah, and I want to say, even with the Nyx scouting, it's good that he does have a Blink, because Doom has a gem of his own, so it's going to be a struggle for Nyx to be that initiating hero. He's going to have to leave that up for Storm. And Storm with this Lifestealer in tow. Don't know if they were going to go ahead and engage on the Razor, but looks like they might try to make something happen here.
Yeah, it looks like they're just kind of pushing the top and mid lane, kind of trying to see and scout where the Radiant is going to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of back and forth going on. Definitely. Team Osiris just going back and forth from top to mid.
Yeah.
Slowly getting their lanes pushed. That tower getting dangerously low as well. AA all does hit on the Shadow Demon, but he's actually going to make it out? No.
No, not this time. And
has a feel.
I don't know, it seems almost like the Radiant possibly should have put more, I guess, cohesion into their team fight. Like, had just kind of pushed down for the racks, because as far as the Dire goes, they have a really ganking heavy lineup. And, oh, my mouse is not working.
Uh-oh.
Oh, okay. No, it's good now. Changed profiles. But I mean, with their super early mech pickup, it probably would have been more advantageous of them to put on a little bit more pressure and kind of just take the 5-man that they've been kind of moseying on around the map and just bring it down a lane and try and get some towers down, because it doesn't look like Dire really wants to team fight. They've been putting on constant pressure on all lanes, and they've just been trying to create space for themselves.
Exactly, but I think this is the reason why they haven't been able to do so. That Storm Spirit coming in with that Lifestealer once again, doing so much damage before any of the team, the members of Team Osiris can actually do anything about it. Earthshaker and AA both getting picked off fairly easily with that initial ball lightning.
That's going to be a complete team wipe. See, that's exactly what I feel like I would have wanted to see them do maybe 15 minutes ago. I feel like that would have fared a lot better for them, instead of just kind of being cut off in their own jungle, having the EXP, not having an EXP lead, and just getting starved basically on their side of the map.
And I do believe, had Team Osiris been more active towards the early part of the game, things would have been a little bit more different, but Team Happy Time just playing it safe, knowing even though they have the game in their favor, they were just playing it safe, slow sieging everything. Now with that Roshan and the Aegis pickup on the Storm Spirit once again, it's just going to be really hard to lock that Storm Spirit down. I feel like maybe a Shadow Blade would have been better, like a pickup for the for the Doom.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly it. Like Shadow Blade or even like a Blink, like he really needs to close the gap. And as far as the dire mobility goes, with that Force Staff and with all those Blinks, Initiates, Ball Lightning, it's really hard to get in the positioning that you want to start a team fight.
Yeah, so far I feel like in every single team fight it's always been Happy Times initiating versus Team Osiris. Team Osiris just gets caught off guard every single time, and I feel like even with their Fisher in tow, they just don't have the items or the mobility to be able to initiate themselves without anything bad happening. So we do see that Vortex coming in on the Razor. Razor pops his Eye of the Storm, but everyone just diffuses once again. Happy Times just trying to dodge any sort of fight here. They're actually going to go back in. Nice two-man impale coming in from the Nyx. Brings down the Razor and the Earthshaker really low. BKB gets popped from the Shadow Fiend. A lot of right-click damages coming in from...
Oh yeah, definitely with that Manta as well. So this is kind of more of the initiate that they wanted. I mean, I think this is what they were waiting for too, the Radiant team. They were looking for the Dire team to kind of overextend because it didn't seem like they were that confident in their team fight, despite the build that they went. I mean, they did have a mech. It would have been nice to see them go for some more early game push, but at this point, their options are a little bit more limited.
I do believe it was the safety of their tower that probably boosted their confidence. That tower, though, at 108 HP. So I say this is where Shadow Fiend and Razor will both get pretty strong. I mean, Clockwork does have his invisibility rune, and let's see if his teammates can actually rotate in to help him out. We've got the Nyx coming in, but yeah, they're actually just going to go in and back out.
Yeah, I mean, huge EXP lead at this point from the Dire. 1500 EXP.
It's actually surprising with that last team fight how the XP just kind of twisted the other way. So I wouldn't say it's that Happy Times is so much in the lead. It's just, yeah, they've just been able to take more towers and more kills at this point of the game.
Exactly. And I mean, as far as it goes, I feel almost like the way that they're playing, it could have possibly, like, yeah, like I was saying before, like seeing more push towers. If the Razor had have possibly even picked up like a Aghanim Scepter, they might have a little bit more push potential.
Yeah, and he does have that now, but might have been too little too late. This Clockwork, I don't know exactly what he was thinking. He just hook shots in on his own.
Oh, and there's the gem dropped. A little gift for the Radiant.
Yeah, his team was like nowhere near him to follow through. It was just a free kill and gem for Team Osiris. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, so we're seeing this turtling strat kind of paying off at this point, just considering that the Dire seems to be getting a little bit antsy and kind of going for initiates that they probably shouldn't.
Yeah, you're right. This turtling is paying off because at 47 minutes into the game, the gold is pretty fairly even, I would have to say. Like, it's only about a 3k lead, 3.5k lead for Team Happy Times. But knowing that they have more kills and more towers, you can see on the last hits board, Shadow Fiend is still topping the charts.
And it does look like they want to kind of get something going middle. Radiant is pushing up the mid lane. However, their Doom is lagging behind, and that ultimate is very important for the team fight. So I think they just want to kind of pick this tower off as quick as possible and just back to defend their racks.
Don't know exactly how smart that was for Team Happy Times, considering, I mean, they thought that maybe Team Osiris would just keep going for tier 3, but at this point, like, the TPs are coming in. Doom comes in on the Storm Turret.
Oh boy.
Half damage,
not the initiate he wanted.
Yeah, he's going to get defensively disrupted. Echo Slam comes in, not really doing much. Not too many creeps.
Not so much.
Shadow Demon does die to the hands of Doom. I think that was like a 4-man impale coming out from...
Yeah, that was pretty impressive.
Bubbles, man. How clutch.
Bubbles, what a player.
So Storm now being able to TP out, Clockwork, being able to hook shot.
Lifestealer is just hanging inside of Clockwork. Get me out of here, buddy! We're in the wrong side of town.
Yeah, that Impale just kind of securing the safety for his team. But Shadow Demon did buy back in the process of that, so they are going to go ahead and try to put some aggression on this tier 2 tower down here in the bottom lane. Buyback comes in from the Nyx Assassin. Ball laning comes in with the Infest. 8-8 does get hexed up, and Razor. Oh my god, this Storm Strike, he's gonna get sniped by the AA. That was really nice.
Yeah. Oh, A just able to hide in the trees, stay alive, and looks like they're able to kind of turn this around.
Yeah, a lot of trades coming in. Not looking too good for Happy Times right now. Oh, 8 Mother trying to do some damage against... trying to 1v4, but... yeah, they're going to go ahead and back off, and this tower will fall.
I only mention it as a conversation starter. How are you, Dyer's bottom tower has been destroyed.
I'm actually kind of surprised to see that neither the Shadow Fiend or the Razor picked up a Deso. I think that would really help as far as all their right-click damage goes and kind of just pulling down towers with their physical damage.
Yeah, that's really surprising. They went for, like, super late-game items. The Butterfly pickup on the Shadow Fiend and the Razor. Just with the Axe Scepter and the Ghost Scepter.
Dyer's bottom tower is
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like the Ghost Scepter on the Razor because you can... any kind of aggression that's put on him, like the Clockwork or the Lifestealer wounds, he's able to just Ghost Scepter himself and steal maximum damage, so leaving the other opponent just completely useless.
Yeah, that's very true. And like we stated earlier, the Lifestealer is the only one with the right-click damage on Team Happy Times versus 2 on Team Osiris.
Here we go, and this is exactly why
Oh,
the
man.
Radiant doesn't have the ability to split push. I mean, the Storm Spirit is just one of those heroes that makes it just miserable to try and ever split push on your own. And the Clockwork as well, so you saw both of them right away. Quick response to that Razor trying to take down top tower by himself.
And it was good that, Team Osiris put a lot of aggression actually in the bottom lane, but it was very unfavorable for them to try to do the same in the top lane when that Storm Spirit was still up, so... we did see some disconnects coming in, or just one. It is going to be Patzel on the Doom.
A little bit of technical difficulties.
So I'm actually surprised because that XP was, like, Happy Times was in such a big lead, but...
Oh yeah, and you can see too that it's just spiking upwards. Like they have just lost their EXP lead at this point. It was over 1,500 in their favor, which is a huge advantage. But I mean, they weren't really able to translate that into anything.
Let's look at our item progressions here. A Desolator pickup would still be good at this point of the game, I would say. Lifestealer does have a Demon Edge. He might go for a Monkey King bar. And I think that's actually going to help, considering the Shadow Fiend and the Razor are doing quite a bit of damage. The Clockwork, being smart, picking up a Ghost Scepter for himself. Don't see any other Ghost Scepters on the board for Team Happy Times with the Shadow Demon picking up a Boots of Travel. Clockwork as well. This is a stage of the game where we're going to see possibly the whole team having Boots of Travel.
Uh-oh, can you reconnect after update? Looks like there might be an update.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Hot dog.
So as far as lockdown items go, we see now a Hex on the Storm Spirit. He does have his BKB, which he's only used once, so he's going to have a 9-second BKB for the next fight. It's going to be really good. But
Yeah.
since Happy Times lost their gem, I mean, Team Osiris both having a gem on the Doom and the Earthshaker, it's going to be really hard for that Nyx to do anything about that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And we do see the Lifestealer has his heart now. He does have a Demon Edge. Probably looking to build into a MKB. Yeah, definitely an MKB actually to cut down on the Shadow Fiend's butterfly. Just kind of chip away at him.
For Staff Gaming, man. 3 of them on Team Happy Times as well on all their supports, which is really good. Like, I feel like now, considering at the beginning of the game, Nyx was, being busy, scouting around, trying to find those kills for his team. Now it's at the point where he can't exactly survive being that initiator. He's going to have to just be careful with those defensive impales and his carapace. I feel like that impale was really good down in the bottom lane. That was amazing. And I think he got a 4-man impale and then another 3-man. It's been really spot on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and everyone's messaging me the Dota 2 network is down, so there's an update going on.
Oh yeah, as we can see, connecting to Dota 2 network.
Katzel will be the guinea pig to see whether he can join a game after the update.
Yeah, let's hope so. Oh, reconnected. There we go.
Nice. That's good to know.
Hamster co-caster. People want me to check in my dad's workout room and see if the hamster's using his workout equipment.
I don't hear it though. It might be my chair. Alright, so the game has now resumed. We see that AA and the Razor did die in the top lane to the Storm Spirit, the Lifestealer, and I believe it was the Nyx as the third. But we now see Team Happy Times trying to push this middle lane. We've got that two heroes down for Team Osiris. Razor does have buyback though, so let's see if he's going to go ahead and use that.
Yeah, now definitely looks like a good opportunity to kind of finally get down this mid-racks that they've been wanting to get for a while.
AA trying to delay it a little bit with his Ice Blast on the Lifestealer, but Lifestealer's just going to sit
there. Not
there.
really doing much damage.
And with the Boots of Travel TP coming in from the Clockwork, this is now 5 mid on Team Happy Times. Razor is going to be up in 15 seconds.
So this is the really dangerous part for Happy Times, is finding that uphill initiation. That's going to be a huge difficulty for them. Fortunately, they do have a lot of mobility. They do have their 4 staffs to kind of bail them out if they go a little too deep.
Yeah, and with Team Osiris, their lane's kind of pushed in. Roshan is now up, so let's see if Team Osiris can actually plan this out. And yeah, this won't be a safe Roshan for the taking. But
and there's that initiate. Wow, no touchy ward. That is
Poor
not
guy.
for you.
That's support life, right?
Life of a support. Womp womp. I was just trying to ward, guys.
So lots of pinging at the Roshan pay. We see that Happy Times is going to try and take this.
Definitely a good call.
Won't be
Radiant
up
is
for
all
another
top,
20 seconds.
so they've got all the space in the world to try and go for this.
This is Cheese Roche, so I think Lifestealer might actually take the cheese. And I do feel like it was smart for Lifestealer to pick up that heart because Team Osiris just has, I feel like they just have a fixed amount of damage. So once you bypass all of that, if you can survive through that, I mean, you're fine. So
yeah, exactly.
I feel like that was a good
and they do
pick.
have the sheep stick now as well, and the ball. They have enough CC to kind of survive a team fight as long as they get the initiation that they're looking for. And that's kind of what it comes down to at this point. It's which team is going to get the initiation off and get that advantage in positioning.
I almost feel like Team Happy Times is a little bit stronger with their initiation, especially with that Storm Spirit being spot on with that.
Yeah,
But,
definitely. I think the difference is that they have a lot more mobility to get these initiations off.
Oh, we see Static Link coming in, but that Lifestealer is just
Not
going to
gonna
go
get
ahead and bust in the
anything.
storm. Happy Times has been pretty good about playing it completely safe, but now with this tower that they want to take, they're going to have to think about this really hard. all the lanes are kind of pushed out, so you might
Definitely.
actually look
And
to
we do
back.
see the cheese on the Storm Spirit, so he does have a little bit more room to kind of zip in and out, expend his whole mana pool, and still get recharged.
And that's exactly what he's going to do. That
And there's that
Vortex
initiate.
up on the Shadow Fiend. Shadow Fiend popping his Mantis out, but still dies. He does buy back though, so Shadow Fiend to join the fight once again. AA does pick off the Nyx. Life Stealer. I think they're actually going to try and back with this. Nice Fisher catching out the Clockwork. But Lifestealer is going to go ahead and TP back. Same as Clockwork. Does not have a T. Oh, he does have a. Yeah, he has his boots of travel.
Oh, Earthshaker canceling the TP.
So that was actually really sloppy. I don't know what happened. I mean, there was a fight that was kind of towards the, I don't know, the top tower.
I think at this point, like, they're just getting really antsy. They had the Aegis pickup. They thought they had the advantage in that fight, but I mean, with this turtling strategy coming out of Osiris, it's really hard for them to kind of break their base at this point. And as we saw, it doesn't look like they have that much of an advantage that they're able to just go YOLOing uphill at this point and take out the entire team and Rax. So that counter push is going to be coming swiftly.
We do still have the Aegis and the cheese up, but with that Doom, now with the Shiva's Guard, he's tankier than ever. Clockwork coming in with the hook shot onto the Razor.
Razor also with the eggs pickup, so that's going to be dealing a lot more damage to towers as well.
Yeah, and he's stealing a lot of damage from this Lifestealer right now. If they are able, yeah, they were able to go ahead and lock him down. Aegis is going to get popped, but Lifestealer, yeah, the Shadow Demon with the Purge. I mean, his Soul Caster does so much damage, and Razor fell to that.
I feel like we're just going from counter initiate to counter initiate.
Mm-hmm. And with this, Patzel not looking too good for him. Gets Sheepstick.
And that's going to be a team wipe. Gem is returned back to the Dire. Doesn't look like they've noticed it though, or maybe they just don't care. Can't be bothered with shiny things. Let's go get that Rax.
Doom with the very early buyback. Only one on his team so far. Let's look at the rest on the buyback. On Team Osiris, we don't see any. We see a buyback from Razor. Oh, Earthshaker doesn't have one, but he'll be up soon.
Neither does Shadow Fiend, so it's not looking good at this point.
Tower.
Looks like they're definitely going to get this mid rocks.
Purge does come up on Razor, but he's
wow,
going to go ahead and
how tanky though.
Yeah. And he did pop his Ghost after Lifestealer, just had to go ahead and turn around. But
and here we go again with the counter initiate. See if they're able to translate this into skills.
That was a nice defensive force staff by the Clockwork onto the Lifestealer. That Lifestealer was able to infest because of that. That was insane. Oh, I think that was an offensive force staff on the Razor.
The Razor getting a little too far out.
Next level. Lots of traits going on here. Nice defensive disrupt coming in from the Shadow Demon. And Patzel will die once again. He did use his buyback for this, so he will not have buyback if the Dire does decide to push.
We just keep seeing a series of like counter initiate throws.
Mm-hmm. These fights so scattered too.
Yeah, I think the Radiant definitely overextended there. They probably should have just, backed off when they couldn't get the pick off at that point. But they really wanted it, and now they're possibly going to lose another Rax because of it.
And the Ancient Apparition did buy back, so if he does get Ball Lightning on again, he's not going to have... He's just going to have to watch his base get destroyed. Oh, Impale does miss, so Nyx trying to be a hero. Wasn't able to...
Lifestealer is just going ham on this Rax here. Mm. He doesn't care.
He's going to have Rage up in 4 seconds, though. Doesn't quite have Infest up yet, though, but if he just backs off, yeah, he's just going to go ahead and regenerate his health and go back in for a second go. I mean, at this point, I don't know. It's been weird, these trades. It's just...
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like a lot of the heroes, like we can see right here, we have Lifestealer kind of saving for his buyback. Unfortunately, Storm Spirit doesn't have one, so Lifestealer playing a little more carefully at this point. and he is probably one of their more key heroes to have up to be able to defend the racks. Razor coming bottom right away. He does have his ult up, and he definitely is going to want to look to push more with his ultimate.
Yeah, indeed. I feel like that ultimate's been working so well for him, especially with that added boost movement speed. It's just something Happy Times can't really do, because once the disruption goes down, once the impale goes down, all they have to do is like wait for the lockdown spells to come up again, and
Yeah,
at that point,
exactly.
Razor is just stealing damage and just right-clicking them to death.
Yeah.
So as far as item progression goes, we now see the Monkey King bar completed on the Lifestealer as it was in the last team fight, but he's also picked up the Skull Basher.
Nick's
Whereas
kind of
Razor-
camping for Roche. Still not going to be up for a little bit, though.
I'm still surprised there's no Deso up on the board. I mean,
I know,
Razor,
right?
Razor
I
just
mean-
picked himself an Eye of Scotty.
Yeah, I mean, not going to be able to pick up the Deso now on the Razor, but surprised we're not seeing it on the Shadow Fiend. I mean, with that crit and the Butterfly, he's just going to deal massive amounts of damage if he can kind of bring down that armor. And I feel like they definitely need it, especially when they got the AC pickup on the Lifestealer.
Yeah, and his BKB still has been at 4 seconds, so I don't know if the Shadow Fiend is looking to invest in a whole new BKB. That 4 seconds, it's just, there's so much magic damage coming in from Happy Times. It's just, I don't know if he's going to be able to survive it if they do decide to focus him in a team fight.
And looks like Osiris is going to go straight for mid. There's the Initiate.
Some fast hook shot and ball
Yeah.
action coming in.
I mean, you can't
Echo
really
Slam.
see that coming. It's just,
Yeah,
bam.
there's just no time to prepare for that. And Razor,
Oh,
though,
that's Scatty. Doing
is just doing
work.
so much damage. He has
Oh, man.
about 500 damage per right click.
Wow. And just gonna melt down these Raxes. No, gonna back off.
And there were 3 buybacks on the team of Happy Times on that Shadow Demon, Lifestealer, and the Nyx. So let's see if this Razor decides to go in for another go. He does have the damage to do so. Another Static Link coming out, but he's going to get focused. Ghost Scepter does get popped. But yeah, it just looks like Osiris is going to go ahead and try to back away. Another hook shot comes in. Razor
Oh, and
very
just
low.
gets away.
Yeah.
200 HP on the Razor. But dealing just massive amounts of damage now with the Static Link.
That Nyx stuck around for so long, and I think he did have a Carapace up. I don't exactly know why he didn't use that, but he did die to AA. So lots of rubber banding.
Yeah.
And you can clearly tell in the gold graph, I mean, it's just spiking up and down. XP, same as well.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of twists and turns in this game.
Roshan is now up for the taking, but both teams are quite aware of this.
Yeah, they're both going to be constantly scouting this out, and I mean, both of them with global skills, the Clockwork Rocket, and also the AA ult. They're going to be constantly trying to send vision to this area, seeing who's going to try and commit to the Roshan and try and catch one or two of them out of position.
And Clockwork, again, trying to use his cogs to deter Team Osiris from knowing what's going on by the Roche pit. I think they did see the Shadow Demon kind of getting caught out, but he's going to make it out safely. Gem is still on the ground, though. Don't exactly know why Shadow Demon isn't picking it up. He did have 2 extra slots, but
Yeah.
quite interesting.
Mo money, mo problems. Oh, and
do see
there's
another
that
hook
clock
shot coming
initiate.
Doom gets popped. Disrupt on that hero as well.
Oh,
That was a lot of
there's the
damage
life
from Shadow
stealer.
Demon.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of a later initiate because he got disrupted. So definitely coming out on top. Osiris
Oh my
Gaming in that
God.
fight. They're now able to possibly take this Rax, and
Yeah,
GG
and
is
Solon called
called.
GG with that. I think he just knew that they can't outmatch the damage coming
Yeah.
out from Osiris.
The right
What a
click at that
game.
point. Yeah, it's back and forth the entire time.
I feel like Happy Times had so much control over the map, and they were farming a lot more, but then Team Osiris just being able to secure farm for the Shadow Fiend with their 5-man rotations, it definitely worked out in the end. I mean, had Shadow Fiend not kept
Definitely.
up with this farm,